What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You know who this is. It's the Dad Bod God. It's the bald, the beard, and the beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, this episode, we got a special one for you. We got some royalty up in this bitch. We got the one, the only King Mega, former NYWC heavyweight champion, baby. King Mega has been around on the US Indies for many, many years. He's a former podcast partner of mine with the MWA Podcast Network. He was the co-host of Killing the Business with Angel and Glenn. He's now also on the No Holds Barred Sports Podcast with him and Lowrider and Kenny. We're going to get into that much, much more. I'm excited to have King Mega on. He's one of my boys, and I'm excited to have this awesome conversation with him. But before we get into that, I need to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Sleeves. Now, Sleeves is your one-stop shop for all your athletic wear and gear. We all have someone in our lives who is an athlete, people. So this is the place that you need to go. That's Sleeves, SLEEFS, sleeves.com. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you always hear me raving about because they're so damn comfortable. If you're going to put your balls in anything, put them in a pair of sleeves. So check him out. Use that promo code MWAPOD for a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, wherever you're finding us, I appreciate you for tuning in because this is going to be a dope-ass conversation. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, tap the button, and tap in. Also, if you're listening on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star review. It helps with all of our analytics. It helps us bring more amazing conversations to more amazing people. So get to clicking, get to tapping while we start off this motherfucking podcast with King Mega, baby! What's going on, everyone? We're here with my boy, King Mega. Mega, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Piers? What's up, people?
How you doing, it's been man? A hot minute, man. It's been a hot minute since we talked, bro. It's good to see you, man. You're looking well.
Yeah, looking good. I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling okay.
That's the words of a grizzled vet right there. Yeah, I'm looking good, but feeling okay.
Feel like shit, but I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. I can't complain. You know, man, everybody's going through something, and you know, in the wrestling industry, outside, everybody goes through something. So, you know, no need for me to complain. Just keep marching forward, and you know, whatever happens, happens.
Now, you're obviously I don't want to pull the blinds back.
Here we go.
At the moment, right? So
here we go.
Are you still wrestling even though you're hurt? Are you taking a bit of time off? Are you chilling at the moment?
Yeah, I got a show. I'm supposed to have a show this month, but I canceled it. But I'm going to do a show next month. Up in New York, in the States, up in New York. So you know, I'll be all right. I know what to do. I know how to avoid worsening the injury. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. And honestly, it's always good to see people, you know, friends or just acquaintances that you don't get to see all the time, whether it's a year or some, you know, you may not to see, you may haven't seen 2 or 3 years. So that always trumps being in pain for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you know, always. Because, you know, unfortunately, I'm sure we'll get into it, but you know, not dealing with, but experienced what happened with Jay Briscoe this week,
Mm.
you just never know when you're going to see somebody for the last time or the next time. So um, yeah, I'll just deal with the pain. I'm going to see some people I'm seeing with friends, acquaintances, and or even just new people. Like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
That trumps being in pain for any amount of time.
I think as well, like the one thing, like I think, like the Jay Briscoe passing that I've sort of looked at, and I didn't know Jay, but like obviously, like I mean, we know people, and like you've
Mm-hmm.
known him. I like Chung and like Louis, pretty much came up around the same era
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
them in the Indies. And like people that like we both know were relatively close, and seeing some of the things that they're saying about him, and like everything that I heard prior to his passing was always positive. Like I always said, like he and his brother would be two people I'd love to have a conversation with, just because they seem like the most realist and down to earth people when you see them, and from what like the stories that I've heard.
Right.
And like I just obviously like feel like in the world of wrestling, and like correct me if I'm wrong, bro, and this is like my thought, but like I've been around shows and been working shows and stuff like that, and the one thing, like, and I think maybe this is like the old school thing that I've sort of seen and learned, is like you know asking to take a photo with your friend, bro, who may have been higher up on a card at some point or wherever, is you considered a mark, bro, right? Like you can say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, fucking mark, but whatever. But it's like, shouldn't we be able to take photos with our friends, bro? Like at the moments where is the most happiest, which is the world of wrestling, which is why everyone that
Yeah.
is involved in it to begin with. It's like, why not take photos of those happy moments? And to be honest, bro, that's something that I'm probably going to start doing, man. Like when I'm working shows with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting those photos of those memories, bro, because it's like tomorrow is never promised, right? Like
Nope.
anything can
Yeah.
happen.
I literally told that to somebody the other day that, tomorrow's never promised. And it's funny you said, because one of my biggest, I don't have many regrets at all, but one of, small regret, it's a regret, but on the scale of life, it's, not a huge regret, but, and obviously it's easier now, with, smartphones, but, when I was coming up,
100%.
had cameras, right?
Yeah.
But still, one of my regrets is not taking photos back in the day.
Mm.
It's something I consider myself an old school dude. It's crazy I
Yeah.
didn't understand that, but right. All about I got trained by Mikey Whipwreck. So all things um respect and old school, doing things the right way. I learned primarily through him. In general, I'm like that in general, because I'm a big
Yeah.
sport guy. So I'm all about, you know, respecting those who came before you, respecting those who have achieved greater success
Mm.
than you, just paying respect for them. So that's been ingrained in me. But I just wish that I took more photos back in the day.
Mm.
Um, and I've even said that to guys in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, take photos. Who cares? So, being a mark is like, in a way, it's stupid. Like you're not a mark for taking pictures with someone.
Uh,
Like, are you a mark for your uncle who you see every 2 years?
mm.
You
Or
just
having like a birthday barbecue in your house,
right,
right? And then you get a photo with your
right.
boys. Is that yeah,
Are you being a mark? No, you're just taking a picture of a good,
of a
like you
happy
said,
time,
a
right?
happy
Of a
moment,
happy time.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and another thing that I hate, it's you ever see? I don't know if they do it in rugby in Australia, but you ever see? They definitely do it here in American football and basketball, where at the end of the game, a couple guys will exchange their jerseys.
Yeah. Like it happens in rugby, like when there's
Yeah, I
internationals or
figured.
major
Yeah,
games like grand finals,
right.
etc.
God forbid somebody do that in wrestling. God forbid. You'd be like shamed from here to kingdom come. But what's wrong with that? If wrestlers, and especially if it's a man like 10, 15 years ago, wanted to be like real, right?
Mm.
Well, real pro athletes exchange jerseys all the time. We're not sitting there calling them marks and stupid. That's what they do. So what's wrong with exchanging gear?
I mean,
Granted, you got to pay for it. It's not free. Theirs is free. I know some stupid teams
I think
make
for
you
a
pay
big
for it.
match, like, you know what I mean, like something like a WrestleMania moment, or like even something which would be like, you know, like a big match or a big moment for like two wrestlers on a company doesn't necessarily mean WWE, something like that, and it's like a big blow off,
Mm-hmm.
and you get that big reaction or big whatever, and it's everything's perfect, then yeah, I can see that being a thing. But like, are you saying for something like that, or are you saying more for like, hey, we
Anytime,
just had a match, let's just switch gear?
anytime. And then I'm not doing it with everyone, because you buy your own gear. You can't be switching gear with everyone. But like say, you and I've been working for 10 years.
Mm.
Okay, can I get your gear? Like I actually asked 1, 2, 3 people for gear,
Really?
and they're all still working. Yeah, I say, hey, when you get a chance, I need some gear. And one person's like, they're like, huh? That
Like, freaked out
it's
by
for
it? Like,
what?
going,
Like,
what do you want my gear
yeah,
for?
I'm like,
Bro?
it's
Like,
no. So he was gonna he think I was gonna sell it probably. I said, no, it's for me. He said, why you want just cause? And I told him why. He said, oh, okay. So I said, and I told him like start like, taking pictures, take more pictures, exchange gears, nothing wrong with it. So I'm doing I actually have Mikey Whipwreck. I actually have it's hard to turn my camera around, but I have Whipwreck's pants from the last ECW pay-per-view.
really?
And the only reason I have it, well, not the only reason I have it, but I wanted pants of him, but those are my favorite pants of his. It's the gold, now they're like kind of green, but they're like gold and silver flames. Yeah, they hang up on the wall in a
Yeah.
giant frame. Yeah.
You know what, like Mikey Whipwreck to me, like when I was younger, like coming up, like I first saw Mikey Whipwreck, like we got ECW VHS tapes in our
Mm-hmm.
video store, and it was like sparingly. Like I remember seeing it probably somewhere in the mid 90s. We had like Eastern Championship Wrestling, and then we had ECW, and then I saw like this guy who, like, I was probably like 14 or 15 at the time, and like Mikey was probably like maybe only like 4 or 5 years older, like maybe
Right.
19 or 20 or something, you know what I mean, early 20s or something like that. And I've seen this guy come out, and instantly I've seen this guy getting the shit kicked out of him, and like for some reason I automatically, like, not knowing what I know now, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm automatically invested in this guy, going, come on, like I want to see him succeed, because he played the role of an underdog so well that he got no offense in. So like,
Yeah.
but when he won matches, it was just done on a complete fluke. And it was like, to be able to do that, not every performer can do that on that level. And I think Mikey, as far as a performer, as far as like how he sells, is like, man, I think he's one of the most underrated in the business.
Yeah, he is definitely. I tell everyone he taught me how to be a big man, and Mikey's 5. I don't know, 5'8",
But
maybe.
how many
Mikey's
big
great.
men did he work with? He got destroyed by a lot of them, so he
Yeah,
knows, right?
Mikey is great. Mikey is great. I don't know if he should want me saying this, but I don't care. They actually the WWE actually offered him a position at the Performance Center
Really?
years ago. Yeah. Um, and they also wanted him to work on the road, and he just didn't want to leave his family. He didn't want to leave his family he didn't want to move his family to Florida, and to just work every now and then. But his back was in so he's in terrible shape. Um, but he said, "Nah, I can't." And then he just like moved on. Like, yeah, no. And I kind of like respect him for that, because he could have, he actually could have went on the road full time
Mm.
for a couple years with them. He said no. And then when he got offered the position at the Performance Center, he just didn't want to uproot his family from Pennsylvania. It's like, no, just family's more important,
Mm.
And there's no guarantee that he'd be there for 10, 15, 20, 25 years.
Mm.
So why uproot your family from Pennsylvania to Florida? Even though the weather is way better here in Florida. And to all my all you American listeners, get the hell out of the Northeast. Mikey, move to Florida. I
Yeah,
love it down
but
here.
you know what? Like, as you said, it's not guaranteed. He could
Not
move to
guaranteed.
like
No.
Florida, and then like 6 months later, and like I'm not sure how old Mikey's kids are, like, but like when
Yeah.
you've got kids, like you need that support system of like your parents, your in-laws, your
Yeah.
siblings, because like when shit happens and you need someone to look after your kid, you
Right.
need
Yeah.
someone like family around, right?
Well, that's what happened with Allison Danger, who was in Ring of Honor. She like left the wrestling business, moved to Vegas, started a family, and then like a couple of years ago, they offered her a coaching position at the PC, and then she gets fired or laid off like less than 3 months.
Really? Less than
Yeah,
I thought she was there
yeah,
longer than that.
no, uh.
Mm.
It's crazy. I'm like, how do you do that to someone?
But it's
Yeah,
just, bro. I turned
and
around.
that's Steve Carino's sister. So it's like, and he's still there, but are they trying to get back at Carino, or and I've known her, I haven't seen her forever, but she's a sweet person. I can't imagine she pissing anybody off. It's just, that's the one thing I hate about the wrestling business. There's just like so much um buffoonery that goes on behind the camera. Like, it's just not, sometimes it's just not worth the headache unless
Yeah.
you're making, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And sometimes even then it's not worth it.
Yeah, like it's funny, like to the point where like when you see people arguing over certain things about wrestling, and it's like, bro, it's wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's all it is.
yeah, but it's even like the point where you see fans online argue. You know what I mean? Like you see like the tribalism between fans of like
Hmm.
different promotions, and it's
It's
like
ridiculous.
it even goes into like indie wrestling and then to like mainstream wrestling, right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, if someone goes, I don't like AEW, like I don't like AEW, right? It may have posted something once saying I don't like AEW, and I just got attacked by a bunch of people on
Really?
Twitter going, like, you dumb fuck, you should, like, bro, like ridiculous, relentless shit over just something so small as me saying, hey, this product is not my cup of tea.
Right. Yeah. It's so stupid. Like, you should post like, I don't like lasagna and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll have all the lasagna heads going, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
like the
wrong with, like,
fuck.
you're
No,
a
who
NA guy?
cares? Who gives a shit? Like, people get, and I get, I don't get it. Like, people get attached to wrestling companies like it's their sports teams. And even like the sports teams, um, like my favorite team, these are just up here for, you know, they're valuable. But
Yeah, 100% they are.
I'm a Atlanta Braves fan, right? And if somebody says, "Oh, the Braves suck," or da da da, like whatever, I don't care because I'm a Braves fan, right?
Yeah,
But you'll have your team. I'm sure there's some rugby teams in Australia where a fan of one team doesn't like the other team, so then
100%.
it trickles down to the fans, right?
Yep.
I could
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that, right? But it's like, oh, I hate this guy and blah 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 blah. Like, why? Like, what did he do to you? What does it matter? And if I like one guy or a team, or you like another guy on a team, who cares? So what? Move on. Like, I may like, Adam Cole, and I may hate I can't think of anybody. Bray Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
And if I write something, you get a why are you attacking? Just because you love Bray Wyatt and hate Adam Cole, and I'm the verse and I'm the opposite. Why are you attacking me? Who cares?
Yeah. It
I don't.
wrestling is so subjective in that sense,
It's
like, and that's the thing where you look at the different styles of wrestling. Like, you've got chain wrestling, you've got lucha libre, you've got extreme wrestling, hardcore deathmatch
mm-hmm.
wrestling, you've got brawling. There's so many different styles, and the thing is, there's something there for everyone.
Yeah,
And you know what? There's certain things that aren't for me, but there's certain things that are for me, as I'm sure there are for you.
yeah,
We may have a different taste
mm-hmm.
of opinion in the styles that we like,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like, you shouldn't necessarily go and hate on someone for having a
No.
different style. It's like hating on someone for like hating rap music or hating rock and roll
Yeah.
music because
Who
you like the other
cares?
ones.
Right.
Like,
Who cares?
it's subjective art forms, bro.
Right. Who gives a shit? You like it? Okay, great. I like this. Like, I hate like uh two separate examples. So like, I'm not a fan of Orange Cassidy. I
I'm
just
not either.
don't get it, right? But the guy sells merch. People like him. Okay, this your thing, fine, right? And I'm not a fan of what's his face, Top Dollar in WWE, right?
Nah,
Now him, I'm looking at from a professional lens. There's so many things I hate about not hate. I shouldn't say hate. Don't like about the character. I'll say that the character. I could spend an hour.
it's
On things that-
stereotypical, bro. Like it's stereotypical shit. Like the whole gimmick of
well,
like
that, but not even that.
Rome.
Like he's losing weight, right? You could tell. So props to him. But the stuff is still baggy. He's walking like he's not accustomed to the weight yet.
Mm.
You know, if you're gonna lose weight, you have. You know, wrestling is an aesthetic business, right?
Mm.
If you're gonna, he was, I don't know, probably like 400 pounds. But if you're gonna lose weight, you know, and just become a tall, skinny guy, I need some muscle definition. I need to see
100%.
something that says like, okay, if I see you in the street, I'm like, whoa, who are you? Or he's just tall at this point, and he's still like, and he's in the baggy clothes, doesn't have muscle definition. You know, he's smaller. He just looks awkward, and he works awkward.
Did you see him go over the top rope
Yeah,
spot? Like, bro, I was like, oh,
yeah. I mean, and then what I didn't, well, I mean, everybody has like, on a scale of 1 to 10, everyone has different stages of okay, in my opinion. Like, no one's 100% perfect, right?
no. Everyone has moments where things
Everybody,
go wrong.
right.
Shit happens,
Yeah.
right? Like in anything
So-
in life, right? There's no one does everything.
Right. But he did that. I'm like, oh God. Right. And then a day or two later, he like defended himself on Twitter, posted something, well, here's something I did when I was heavier. Don't just move on. But he
Yeah.
probably felt like crap. He probably got a lot of shit for it in the back, and he probably posted it so those people could see it. Not the fans, but those people could see it. Like, I've done it before, right?
But that's just being a mark for yourself, right?
No, I just think he was really hurt and like, I could do this, and he was kind of like defending himself.
But like, I feel like it's kind of like if you see like like a singer or like someone performing in a live concert, right? If it's like them in the middle of the song, like fuck up a lyric and go bop dop dop dop, like stop guys, yeah, let's restart it, and they don't do that. They just keep going, and most of the time the crowd won't pick up on it. Like, yeah, like what he did was blatantly like botched, but like, bro, it's not as bad as
Well, what? Hold on. Well, what's
Titus
bad
O'Neil
about
sliding under the ring? You know?
what's bad about that is that the guys in the match still sold it. They're the ones who should be lambasted, and one of them is a good friend of mine. But he completely missed, and they still sold him. Like, why are you selling? He didn't touch anybody. Why are you selling this? To me, they're the ones that made it look bad.
Why do you think that they sold it? Do you think that they did it
Because that
it's
was
like,
the plan?
okay, maybe the angle was
No,
like
that was the
teamwork,
planned
like,
spot. No, that was the planned spot. That's what we got to do. 100%. This is what we have to do.
And do you like does this bring it back down to like guys at the moment in the current like scene and in the game like don't know how to work on the fly, that can't sit there and go right. Like maybe there wasn't someone who was a vet who's gone like, 100%. Hey guys, no, this is what we got to do right here.
Yep. Or him, Top Dollar. He should have been just, oh shit, I'm about to get up, sold it, and just start beating the hell out of people. That's exactly what it is. People don't know how to work on the fly anymore. Not everyone, but a lot of guys just don't know how to work on the fly. Or we got to do, spot ABC. We have to get through C. If we don't get through C, we can't get to D.
Yeah.
But there's always a way to get from C to D. Always. And if you mess up the spot, they're like, oh God, we got to go home in a minute because we're on live TV. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Go an extra minute, right? And then they'll cut somebody else's time at the end because it was a mistake. It wasn't like you guys went over a minute or 90 seconds on purpose. A spot got botched. We improvised. We went over an extra 30 seconds. Either if you can't cut it from your match, then they'll cut it off at the end. or during the next match. But it's just experience at that point. And one of the guys who was there, I've known for over 15 years and is very experienced. And I'm surprised he like sold it. Shocked. I'm like, what the hell? What? You know,
But I
and
think when you're on live TV as well, like you're in that situation where it's like the
it could
live
be.
cameras are on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't sell it, imagine if
But
you
there
did
was-
it, and you
yeah, but
stood
there
there and
was-
went, oh, look at this fuck.
Right. So the guy I'm talking about, like he got grazed, but there was, I forgot the other tag team. But there was another guy who wasn't even close to them. Wasn't even close. And he sold it. He legit was like, oh, I gotta sell. It was kind of like, you know, when you got like, you know, 5, 10, 15 guys and somebody, you know, does like a moonsault or dive
Yeah.
off the rope, and you're like in the back and you fall too.
Yeah.
Imagine everyone's missing but you, and someone hits something, and then you just, that's what it was like. I'm like, what the hell is this? And like nobody said anything, which blows my mind. They just ridiculed Top Dollar. I'm just like, what? Like what?
Like because that's the thing. He was the one that went over the top rope, and I think it's like, but I think from a fan's perspective as well, like they don't look at the psychology of it that these guys were standing there. They just saw him going over the rope and like just completely fucking
right. Well, that's where, and that's why I felt like he was getting attacked on Twitter. At that point, he just got put the phone down, and probably got some shit for it in the back by some guys. I think that's why he posted the clip of him doing it successfully, however many months or years ago, kind of like defended himself. You know, that's why I don't. I hope he didn't do it because he was getting attacked by fans. He could have been attacked by other workers, you know, in other companies or in the indies or guys in the back, and just wanted to like, here, I can do it. And I hope that's why he did it. I think that's why he did it. But you know, at the end of the day, nobody got hurt. Somebody could he could have got paralyzed. He could have broke a leg, broke a hip. Let's move on. Who cares? And it's kind of funny how like
freaky accident type shit.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how he gets ridiculed. And damn it, I was, you know, even I was like, oh God, damn. But I wasn't like, you suck. I was just like, oh God. But it's funny how people criticize him for that, right? Knowing that it's all a work. Like, why can't you be sympathetic, but like, oh God, I hope he's okay.
Right?
Like, what? Like, you can't pick and choose when to believe or when to think or when to act when something's real or not. You can't do that.
And you know what? Like, that's part of a conversation I had the other day with a promoter here in Australia. Like, you know, I was on commentary on a show doing heel commentary, right? And like in the main event was like one of my like really good friends in the business, and he was in a steel cage match, and basically a spot happened which was not planned. You know what I mean? Because I'd spoken to the guys, I knew what was going to happen. Most of the thing, they didn't tell me this, and this was a major thing that happened, so they would have told me whatever. And like my buddy went diving through and basically took out the side of the steel cage. He landed on the ground, like almost like bounced off the barricade, and the cage fell on him, right? His tag partner, who's a veteran of around 20 years, was out there as well. I'm at ringside, so I've like gone, holy shit, like freaked out. I'm gone to take my headset off, realized the guy I'm doing commentary with is green. Looking at my friend going, shit, like, what do I do? I want to go and check on my boy, right? And then I'm like going, okay, well, Dave's there. He's experienced vet. He'll be able to assess the situation, and if help is needed for Robbie right now, he's gonna let us know or whatever know and get the appropriate people there. So I was like, I thought, okay, I don't need to go and rush over there. I saw my buddy move. I'm like, all right, cool. Like I know he's gonna, I mean, and then he got up and he had this big comeback moment and made something out of that spot, which is pretty cool. But at that moment, like he freaked a lot of us out because it was a crazy spot. Like if I could find a clip of it, I'll send it to you. But it was something nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just And then like I don't know if I'm gonna get into it. Did you see? I know you say you don't watch AEW, but did you happen to get a chance to watch Rampage last week, or have you seen clips of Willow Nightingale and Anna Jay's powerbomb spot.
Yeah, I saw that. That was fucking. That was scary. That was like.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I thought that girl could have been fucking paralyzed, bro.
Yeah.
What did you
So
think? And,
so
like,
everybody's
saying that. What do you think?
so everybody's attacking Willow, and I'm just full transparency. Love her to death. Like I just that's like, you know, that's my baby sister. Love her to death, right? And when I saw it, first of all, even before that, I'm like, Ruby Soho, why is the blood? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Tony Khan or someone, but somebody has a blood fetish.
Yeah,
I don't know who it is.
in
But
AEW,
somebody, yeah,
especially.
somebody's got a blood
Everyone,
fetish. I don't know
everyone's
who it is.
gigging, bro.
Yeah, like what the hell, right? But so I saw that and I'm like, oh God, like, ooh, that ain't good, right? And then I just hop on Twitter and then everybody's bashing Willow, right? And I'm like, first of all, they should have had two tables, right? They should have had two tables, not one. For having one table, right? It was executed perfectly. Because if you're going to do a sit down powerbomb to the floor, right? Now, for one table, theoretically, it's hard to have it vertically because if you do go through it, right, when the table snaps, no, the back of the if this is the table, right, you go through it, the back would have hit Anna Jay in the head, right? And if it's horizontal, if Willow goes through it, she takes the impact, right? And she holds up Anna Jay from hitting the ground. And Anna can put her arms over Willow's legs. So Willow takes the impact, right?
Like how Bubba would when he used to do like the
Yeah.
power bomb through
Right.
like on women back in the day.
Right. If Anna Jay takes all the table, then Willow's ass and tailbone is hitting directly on the floor, and she could be paralyzed. So there should have been two tables. And I actually know what happened, but I'm not gonna get into it here on air. But
do you think that that's like not really like I think like they executed the spot, right? So they're partly to blame for it, but as well like the people who set up that spot or whatever
that shouldn't have happened in the first place. No,
you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't see something like that happen on WWE. You know what I mean? Like that's the way that I think of it. Like
yeah,
take booking and stuff like that out of it. Whatever.
I don't like that spot anyway. Yeah, it just yeah. It shouldn't even have happened. And what it seems like they're just like hot shotting everything. Like, how is there so much beef between those four in like a matter of a month? Like,
But that's the thing because he's what like I always say, like Tony Khan is a booker, not a writer. And what I mean by that is like wrestling, like bro, like you have been like in that realm of like going and working as a writer for WWE in the past. Like you had conversations with that, so you understand like when you're writing for like a television show, and yes, it's a wrestling television show, but it's still a television show as well. You can't like a television show, wrestling show, like even like like an indie show that is streamed or filmed, like to be like put on YouTube or like sold on a DVD or whatever it may be. Like that is different to just a live wrestling show, which isn't filmed, which I feel like Tony Khan really books like a very indie style of booking where it's like he books show to show as opposed to looking at it and going like, okay, we need to book it from like how are we going to tell this story for the next 3 to 6 months? How are we going to get the baby face over? How are we going to build the heat? Like MJF winning the world title, I reckon they could have held that off for like shit, another few months. Like the same when they had him come out and like after he left and did that shoot work promo thing, and then he came back out and he's got a mask on, does the fucking mannerisms, leaves, and then the same show they fucking unveil him. I'm like, like, why not play that out for a few weeks? Have the person come out and do like fucking Cody Rhodes's fucking mannerisms, and then Hangman Page, like, have people guessing and create a buzz, which I feel like in a lot of ways in pro wrestling, I feel like, you know, people won't create a buzz because they want their audience want an instant satisfaction straight away. They don't want to wait for it.
No, I agree. I totally agree. And I think also, part of the issue is that he was a big, or is a big ECW mark.
Yeah.
So I think part of him wants to be, you know, I want to have ECW of 2023 now. And you're right. It's, you know, the Rampage ratings aren't great. So they want instant satisfaction, instant gratification. And that's why you're starting to see, you know, bigger, quote unquote, matches on Rampage. You know, you have the name guys, more name guys on Rampage now because the ratings suck. You know, but if it's done right, you don't have to do all that. You know, it's just, I don't know. Like you said, he's you know, first of all, he's great for the wrestling business. It's another place for guys to work and guys and girls to work and make a lot of money. Get that out of the way.
And he's drawing crowds as well. Like, my opinion is my opinion, right? Like,
right, yeah.
I can't hate on it because he's drawing people. Right. Like, good for them. You know what I mean? Like,
you know, got a good deal with TNT TBS. But there's just something with Rampage that just needs to change. It's kind of like WCW Thunder back in the days. Like, everybody loved Nitro, everybody watched Nitro, but when it came to Thunder, it was like,
yeah, it was like I can just see the recaps on Nitro the next week.
Right, like, yeah, they need to do something. They need to, like, it is a separate, you know, it's taped after Dynamite, but they need to do something with the ring skirts, the barricade. Just make it like a completely different show. Even when they do like Battle of the Belts, it's the same thing. Like, just show it. Just give me a different presentation. You know, kind of like when 205 Live was there. You know, they had the what do you call it? They would tape Raw or SmackDown, whichever one it was. SmackDown, right?
And then they would like film.
Then they would take the blue rope off and have the ropes purple, right? So the ropes are purple and change the ring skirts and just make it look a little different. And you could do that on Dynamite. You know, Dynamite, have a regular canvas, black ropes, right? And Rampage could be,
red ropes and
black. Yeah, I'm gonna say black canvas and red ropes. Right, take the canvas off, take the tape off the ropes. I mean, don't even have tape, it's cable, or tape the ropes. Do something, but do something in like 10, 15 minutes. They literally start Rampage right after Dynamite, but take 10 minutes to just change the aesthetics. If you want to keep the cable, then at least change the color of the canvas, right? Have a big ass, Rampage logo on the canvas, or have the turnbuckles be Rampage and change the guardrails, but just make it look different. Make it look like it's live Friday nights, which they have started doing. But just don't make it look like the third or the first pre-hour of Dynamite, which is what it looks like.
Yeah, right. But I feel like with that, I think it just comes with experience as well. Like, because at the end of the day, like, Tony Khan doesn't come from the wrestling business. Like, he's just I'm gonna say it, he's a mark with money, bro. Like, and that's, what I mean. Like,
that's exactly what he is.
He's the head of creative. In reality, like, how many people does he have working there? Like, dude, you've been backstage at AEW. Like, what is the whole atmosphere and vibe like backstage?
Well, first of all, I haven't been to WWE in a while, but it's night and day. You just know you don't feel tension in the air. I'm sure there's a couple guys do there, but it's just more relaxed. But it's still, I don't want to say shit show because that's over the top, but it's like it's the wrestling business. Like, stuff still isn't figured out until late. Um, so a lot of guys are standing around figuring out what to do, what they're gonna do, if they're gonna be on Dynamite or Rampage. Um, and it's a long ass day. You got a ton of people running around, and it's just like I don't know. It's just it just seems to me that they need, and I hate to say this because I don't know Kevin Dunn, but it's like that they need like a guy with 20-25 experience to come in and produce the entire show. Now I don't know who's the producer now. I have no idea, right? But I think they need like, somebody who have had major experience and impact like a Kevin Dunn and come in and produce everything, produce the company basically from top to bottom. And I know they got a couple guys there who've been in the wrestling industry for a while and have produced shows, but it's just like they need like, I don't know, someone with another point of view, not vision, another point of view who has gravitas in the wrestling industry, who Tony Khan will listen to.
Let me put it this to you, man. Like we just saw Stephanie McMahon resign from WWE, which has pretty much been the only place she's worked in her like 40 plus years of existence on this earth. Like, could you imagine if like her and Hunter just turned up and like walked out on Dynamite? But even then, like I think if they were to go and work for AEW, like they wouldn't even need like maybe come on screen like they would with WWE sparingly, but like have them as a backstage running that shit and being like, but you know what? I don't think it would ever happen as well because like Tony Khan would be too paranoid thinking.
But not even that. That's Stephanie's. That's her family. You might as well call it McMahon Wrestling Federation. That's their. Right. It's like her. I don't know. The WWE is like her uncle. Like it's family. That should never do that. Never.
But like
never.
One of the things I found interesting, like I heard, and like from AEW, like the amount of people they have backstage there, and like the talent just don't want to accept feedback or like don't even like go up and get feedback on how they can improve.
I've heard that firsthand from several people. That's true.
Really?
When I was there, people told me that to my face. Yes.
That's wild shit, bro.
Yes. People told me that to my face. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. Told me that to my face.
But like, I remember like you were telling me a story, like basically, and we didn't get the full gist of it, but it was like when MJF was coming up, like he was like backstage, like I think it was an NYWC show or something like that. He was backstage and like, I don't know the details of it. And I like, correct me if I'm wrong, but he disrespected someone or he did something and you like kicked him out of a locker room.
No, it wasn't him. There were students in there. So it was a show. It was at this like luxurious ass firehouse. The thing, it was like a damn city. It's crazy. I mean, not city, like a mansion. It's crazy. It was huge. And then they had this rec room, and the rec room had like 10 recliners in it. And it was humongous. It was huge. I'm like, what the hell? Like, there's some shady shit going on here. No firehouse should look like this. It's crazy, right? So I come in, and the promoter is talking to the students. So all the students are in the recliners with their back to me, and the promoter is looking at me. So I walk in the door, and then, and even before that, let me just pause for a second. Before you get there, there's this kitchen. The kitchen had a couch in it and a cable. That's how crazy this firehouse was. So I was like, I'm staying here. So somebody says, oh, did you see the rec room? You should go in there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, holy shit, yeah, I'm definitely in here. So I go in there. So the promoter looks at me, comes around, walks around the recliners, gives me a hug, shakes my hand, blah, blah, blah. Right? The students, I would say there was probably 15 students in there. Maybe about half of them did this. Other half just kept whatever. Like not a single one got up from their chair to come shake my hand and say hello.
Yeah.
Pissed me off to no end. Pissed me the hell off. Now I'm not anybody, but you will respect me. That's for damn sure, right? And the way, and it's not even like the wrestling business. It's common courtesy. Say hello, but they just sat there like they were God's gift. Nope. I immediately got pissed off and said, "Everybody, get the fuck out. Get out." And then I told people, if you could only come in this room if you had 5+ years experience. That's it. If not, get the fuck out. You can only sit in the lounge chairs if you have 10+ experience. Sorry. That's just the way it's going to be tonight. So, so Papa Dom brought in MJF, right? And he goes, "Hey, can he come in the room?" So I look and I go, "How many years experience do you have? 4? Get out. Nothing personal. Get out. Get out." And I told people, if you want to blame people, blame those students. The heat goes on them. Not me. It's them. And I actually, it's funny. I saw Max earlier this last year, and said, "Hey, you remember I kicked you?" I said, "Yeah." So you know why I did that, right? And he was like, "No, I get it. I totally get it." And then, told him I was proud of him, respect him, and blah 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 blah. But yeah, Max hasn't changed. Thank God, Max has not changed. Max is still the same Max. Still the same Max from.
Do you think was he cool with you when you said that, when you were like, yeah, you 4 years experience, and at that point
he just had to go. He didn't have any choice. Okay, you got to go. And Papa Don said, "Sorry, that's just it. You got to go." And if you want to have heat on, if you want to hate somebody or have heat with somebody, get heat with those fucking students who don't know how to respect people. And then I got on. I definitely got on the promoter, but I forgot who the trainer was. I got on their ass. And then I even talked to them because they were sitting on the floor, students. And I'm like, you guys got to better show some damn respect. This business is all about respect. And what you did was ridiculous, right? And then what also kind of pissed me off, so the promoter, so we had Kenny Dykstra and Mike Mondo on the show, right?
The Spirit Squad guys, right?
Yeah, Spirit Squad. And I had a sign on the door saying, if you have less than 5 years, stay out. If you have less than 10, don't sit in the chair. So the promoter's like, "Hey, can we take the sign down?" I'm like, "No." Well, we have Kenny here. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. This is my locker room tonight. This ain't his. I don't give a fuck. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Right? So Mikey wasn't there, but he found out about it.
Yeah.
So he calls
Mikey Whipwreck or Mondo?
Yeah, Mikey Whipwreck.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Bravo." I'm like, I'm not standing for this bullshit. Fuck that. And then a couple other guys got pissed. I forgot why. And then actually went to training that Tuesday. And then 2 other guys came down and apologized because somebody talked to them and they were like, "Hey, you guys are looked at as, leaders here because you've been wrestling for a while. You should talk to those students and blah, 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 blah." So they actually came up and apologized to me. And took some of the heat, which was good for
that's
them.
respectful
That's good.
in a way.
Yeah.
That's sort of realizing, okay,
Right.
no one is, because as you said, wrestling is all about respect. And it's when you get to a show, if you're involved in a show, if you're a wrestler, you're part of it in any way. When I walk into a show and if I'm the first one there or if I'm not the first one there, or if I walk in, there's a bunch of people there, I just walk around, shake everyone's hand, cameraman, the booker, the promoter, everyone on the card, whoever it may be, whoever is there before a show is there because they're part of the show or connected to someone, a part of the show. So why not go and show someone respect? It's your co-worker in your 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do that in jiu-jitsu class. Everyone, you come in, you bow to the dojo, and then you shake everyone's hand. Everyone does it. Everyone, no matter what rank you are, you come in, you say hello to everybody, and then once we finish class, because it's 2 classes. Once you finish class, there's like an advanced class after the fundamental class. Once the fundamental class is over, right? You line up, you shake the professor's hand at the end of class, and then after that, you go and you shake people's hands who are waiting for the next class. Everyone does it. It's just a respect thing, common courtesy thing. It doesn't just pertain to wrestling. It's any fucking thing. You go to someone's house, you say hello.
100%.
I go to your house, you say hello to your wife, your kids, everybody. If your uncle there, hey, how you doing? It's just fucking respect and common courtesy.
But I feel like that's where it's like, and I think it's like even when we were probably younger as well, like where like our parents or like elders would come home and would be sitting in front of the TV. Hi.
Yes,
hi.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
You know I mean? Like we were probably the
Yes.
same way. Like I'm even like that now. Like if I'm doing something on my phone, like I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm like texting or doing something, and my wife will just start talking, and I'll go, sorry, what? And then she get the angry, and I'm like, you just started talking at me while I'm in the middle of something. Like you could, like, you know, I mean, I'm a dude. I can't do 2 things at once, bro.
Right, yeah.
I can't concentrate on 2 things at once. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
When you got into the business, like, you know, trained by Mikey Whipwreck, who everything that I've been told, like from, you know, Louis, from Chung, from yourself, like have such high respect for him, and especially like coming up through like NYWC. I kind of wish I got to see some of those shows, bro. I've tried to find some. I actually was like not long ago, I was like watching independent wrestling TV, and I was like just like going through old shows. I can't even remember the promotion, but I see a young King Mega in one of the shows, and I straight away, bro, I started popping, and I was like,
really?
oh shit, that's my boy. Yeah. It's like, but like when you broke into the business, bro, like, you know, how did you feel like coming in? Because like wrestling, you know, when you broke in, like politics, and even now politics are a big thing in the business, bro. But like we saw like recently the speaking out movement, everything like that coming out. But you as like a black man in the business, like did you ever experience like racism or like politics about it due to like certain things about race? Because you hear a lot of stories about a lot of different sort of places that go down that way. Did you ever experience that in the business?
Nothing directly. I was told at a conversation with Ernest the Cat Miller before I even got into the wrestling business. I was at a Nitro, and he was talking to me about, you know, being like one of the few black people. So I said, oh, I might be interested, blah, blah, blah. So he gave me a little heads up. And then I spoke to, once I started wrestling, I had a conversation with Mark Henry and the Pope. Damn, I can't forget his name. Elijah Burke. Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, Elijah Burke, right?
Elijah Burke.
And we just had a conversation about being black in the wrestling industry. And basically we're just like, you know, just always keep one eye open, you know. And I've seen stuff happen to a couple people, and it's like, wow, like just this one person in particular, I ain't gonna say his name. I can't fucking stand him. He's a promoter. He's not a promoter anymore. He works at WWE now. I can't fucking stand this guy. He's you know, I really don't say his name because I don't want anyone who's trying to get in there to get any heat from being friends with me. So I'm not gonna say his name. I'll tell you off the air all day. But I've seen him like not be a racist, but do racist things. Like, you know, for example, and this is a shitty example, but he needs, you know, 2 guys to work a match tonight, and he sees me and you me and you here. Piers, sorry, you're booked. Piers, I'm gonna book you twice. Instead of booking you and me in 2 separate matches, he'll book you twice. And he'll say, me, I just don't think you're ready yet, even though I've been wrestling for 20 years.
Like
or
you might have the experience over me,
right,
like the better
yeah,
gear, the better
or
look,
it's like,
whatever, like putting
and
in
I kind of
place.
want somebody shorter because the other two guys are short. It just make up a reasons why he wouldn't use me. I've seen him do
Yeah.
shit like that to
So not
people,
like out and
and
blatant,
excuse me, to
like
black people
yeah. So not
and
like out,
Hispanic people. Yeah.
like not basically blatant outright,
Mm-hmm.
like but
Yeah.
yeah, just taking opportunity away.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yep.
Because it's like you look at it like in the wrestling world, it was like The Rock was the WWE world champion, and like before then, who was like a world champion on a national level in wrestling? Ron
Just
Simmons,
Ron
10
Simmons, the
years
only one.
prior,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like and Booker T as well,
Booker T. Right.
you know. And I think as well, like you've probably seen before, like, but since then, who has it been? Like Bobby Lashley, Kofi
Yeah.
Kingston,
Right.
you know what I mean? And Biggie Langston. And that's happened in like the last two,
The
3
last two,
years.
3 years.
And we've
Yeah.
seen three African American gentlemen
Right.
performers win the title. And that's like more than the
Right.
last 20 years,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah. And even like, Kofi Kingston, great moment. Great moment.
Mm.
Um, but even his run, I mean, his run was okay, but I hated the fact that Brock Lesnar beat him in like 10 seconds. Like, you can't do something else. Like, I get putting a title on Brock Lesnar because it's Fox, but damn, like, respect the dude.
I felt like it meant his title, it made his title run mean nothing.
Nothing.
And also what it did was it not just buried Kofi, it buried everyone that
Oh,
Kofi
if he
beat,
beat. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it buried anyone like really who he beats in the future, because it's like, okay, like the way I would have booked it, and like this is me armchair booking, is like I would have had Brock Lesnar fucking beat the brakes off of Kofi, and Kofi just keep kicking out, have him hit a F5, taunt the audience, wait a couple of minutes so then it's believable that he kicks out of an F5. Brock's like, and then have him snap and start
Yeah.
suplexing the fuck out of him near the end. F5, same shit that he did to Zach Gowen, and on
Mhm.
the outside, like fuck him up completely
Yeah.
and like destroy him. And it's like, have that happen. And I think Mick Foley was one of those guys who really did it. When you see Mick Foley get beat, if you pay close attention, whenever that like he gets beat and the
Mhm.
final third hits the mat, like the referee goes 1, 2, 3, when that 3 hits, you see Mick Foley's leg just slowly kick out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
slowly kick,
I've done
which
that
means
before.
like I've
Yeah.
still got a little bit of
Yeah.
power. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, he just beat me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was just that was ridiculous. I love Lashley's run. Um and then again, like this is something else. Like, why disassemble the Hurt Business? They were so
They
hot.
got over. They got
I
over.
know. I know. That's some more shit. Like little subliminal shit like that. Like, huh? And it's not like somebody did something where somebody got fired, but why break them up?
How
They
did
were
you
hot as
feel?
fuck. They were hot as fuck.
Mm.
They were one of the couple of acts that carried that company through the pandemic, through quarantine. Um, and then you just break them up just to break them up because they were too fucking hot.
How good would they be in like a bloodline versus like, you know what I mean? Like,
Like
and
just
that,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I feel like what they did with them as well is like they had them, like the Hurt Business got over so well. And it's
Ugh.
like it made no sense to end it. But the thing is as well, like, let me ask you about this, because like remember when they had the Hurt Business come out, and then it's like a lot of people are then like referring to them as like Nation of Domination 2.0, because it's
Oh,
like,
that's
you
fucking
know what I mean?
stupid.
And like
Yeah.
I think even like MVP addressed it is like, oh, put a bunch of black performers together
Yes.
and
And
we're
we're
fucking like
right. Yeah. Stupid.
we're a copy of this, which they're
Right.
completely two different, like,
Two completely different things.
yeah.
The Hurt Business could be four white guys.
Mm.
Yeah. They
Because of
oh,
race, because of
that's
race. And I
all it
think
is. Right. It's all it is. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's
you
just
know
it
what I mean?
just yeah.
Like I think a Nation of Domination gimmick probably wouldn't even work in 2023, bro, to be honest.
No. I mean, you could have pulled it off during the pandemic. right
But could you?
after.
Oh, Black Lives Matter. Like you
Yeah.
talking that sort of,
Mhm.
bro? That would have been dangerous though. Because could you
But
imagine like riots and
I
shit?
mean, yeah, I mean, they were in, the Thunderdome, whatever, so it wouldn't have worked. But that's when, you could do it after something like that happens. And if there's controlled riots, I mean, that's what you want. You want controversy. You want asses in seats. You want, ratings to go up. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, that's all Vince did during the 80s and 90s. So, it's the same thing as why he turned Sergeant Slaughter heel and was an Iraqi sympathizer. Let them come out and hate me. They're just going to add to my pocket. I mean, at the bottom line, it's a business. So,
but remember that young dude that was wrestling in like the Middle Eastern gimmick, and he had like Davari as his manager? Was Davari did Davari? Yeah, Davari came in as his manager.
yeah.
Muhammad Hussein.
Yes, damn. I couldn't
And
even. I
then
see his face. I can tell you his name. If you paid me $1 million right now, like, I don't fucking remember his name.
Yeah, and like, mind you, this is an Italian dude, right? Who came
and they
in,
got over.
He got so much heat, and because he got so over with his gimmick and he did it so well, it ended his career.
Yeah, but didn't he do something that didn't he do something?
So what happened was
I completely forgot.
It was just after September 11. It was either just after September 11 or like there was some terrorist attack that happened there afterwards. Like I may be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was September 11th. There may have been something else, but like he was in the feud with The Undertaker. And what happened was, like, at one episode of SmackDown, he came out and he had like all these guys come out with like the Middle Eastern headscarves and shit like that, and like kidnap and like take like run off with The Undertaker. And essentially they just went like, it was more the network told WWE is like, you got to fucking nix this shit. And like, come on, they could have like sent him back to developmental.
Well, that I could see. Like, that I could see. Shit. I mean, you got to be sensitive to like, world issues. I completely forgot. I just remember his last match was on a pay-per-view against Hogan for some reason.
I think it would have been cool if like they start bringing into like real issues, like Vince McMahon coming out onto fucking like WWE and going, my first act of business, I'm gonna re-sign Mandy Rose and make her sign an NDA.
Like what I was gonna say is, it's like there's nothing like why do he have to be a heel? Why couldn't he be a babyface?
McMahon?
And Muhammad Hussein. And show the plight of someone who's of that descent but isn't a terrorist.
I think that's what Ali's done, isn't it?
He doesn't play. Nah, not really. I'm saying specifically.
Well, I'm saying like I'm saying he takes his culture.
He does.
He's trying to like display a more like that positive for the like Muslim community.
He does.
The Middle Eastern community, where I think like, Muhammad Hussein, because he wasn't really Middle Eastern, he wasn't.
But I'm saying after that, after 9/11, take him off TV for a month, bring him back as a babyface. You don't have to leave him as a heel and just unless there's, let's call a spade. A lot of people in WWE today and at the time were middle to older age white men who probably hated them anyway, so they probably didn't want him as a babyface. But there's always a way to take a bad circumstance and turn it into a positive in every walk of life. So 100%. They probably didn't want to do it, but they could have easily made him a baby face, or like you said, just take him off. Just take him off air. You don't have to like kill him or burn the flag or maim him, whatever. Just take him off, let him grow his hair, and do something else. But since they didn't do that, I would think that something else happened behind the scenes that caused him to lose his job.
Backstage politics, bro. Yeah. Backstage politics.
100%. Yeah.
Because it's interesting. Like, I remember having a conversation with Russo about this, and it was like Vince was telling me, he's like, in the business, and especially like in WWE, they don't like it when like you're smarter than what they are. And he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? He's like, so you see guys like Nick Aldis, right, who is like so fucking intelligent
Hmm.
and like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck you. I don't need to work for
Right.
you. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Guys like EC3, Matt Morgan, you know, and that's what Vince was saying to me. He's like, these guys, when you're smarter than them, they feel threatened because
Oh
you're
yeah.
not going to believe their bullshit. You're not going to get
Right.
work because you're not a mark for yourself. You're not a
Right.
mark for like what you're doing. You're a professional.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. Sometimes this shit in this business is just ridiculous and it's just stupid. Um, a good example of that is Matt Cardona with Zack Ryder. Like,
Mm,
that's one guy who got himself over and was making ton of money and had a huge following, and it's 100% because of him.
mm,
100%. And Vince didn't like it. I didn't. It wasn't my idea. And there's more examples of this. But if it's not my idea, it's not getting over.
mm.
And he still ran with it and ran with it and got over. And it's like you said, you can't be smarter than me. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. You
Yeah,
cannot be smarter than me. If
you
you are,
don't
you
know
got to
more than
go.
me.
Right.
But it's almost like the dad and son type thing, right? Like I'm the dad, I know more than you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that mentality. And you look at Matt Cardona, like at the time in WWE, they weren't doing shit with him. He
Nope.
wasn't really being put
No.
out there. And he did like the whole television show. And I remember like hearing or something like a story that like Triple H goes, if you were around the locker room like 10, 15 years ago, you'd get your ass kicked because you're a fucking mark for yourself.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I don't see how that would make him a mark for himself. That's just him trying to create buzz to get attention for
Right.
himself at a time where like no one else, when you're working for a multi-billion-dollar like entertainment organization and
Right.
you're
Yeah.
not getting
Stupid.
like any fucking recognition. But you look what he's done since then, like leaving that company and then like from what I heard, even like basically telling like WWE have come knocking back to get him, and he's like,
Hmm.
no. And he's even
Nope.
said if he goes back, he's going back as Matt Cardona. Like, why would he go
Yeah.
back as Zack Ryder? Like,
Right. It's just so it's just that's one part of the wrestling industry that I hate. It's just so like you have grown men, particularly WWE, WCW, AEW, where there's like people are making companies are making millions upon millions of dollars,
mm,
and there are people making millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you act like kindergartners sometimes. It's like, what? Like, why would you? This is about making money. What
yeah,
makes me money? I could hate you all day. If you come in and say, hey, um, I got all these fans from I got a huge fan from Australia, blah 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 blah, but we don't like each other, fine. It's all about business. Let's put that shit
mm,
aside. We're here to make money. I don't care if I say, hey, Pierce, I want you to be a damn plumber. You say, no, I hate plumbers. I want to be a freaking fireman, right?
yeah,
No, I want you to be a plumber. And out there, you do a plumber, you do a half-ass job, and then one day you come out with a fireman outfit, and everybody follows you. I'm like, well, I was wrong. You're right. You're making me money being a fireman. Go have at it.
100%.
But I wouldn't say no. You're going to be a plumber, and if you don't like it, quit.
Because I think it's like when you like when
Stupid.
there's an owner of a company and it's like and like I've been asked by a promotion here to be their book, like I was asked a year ago to be like the head booker for a promotion, and like I went and gave this owner of this promotion like 6 shows worth of
Mm-hmm.
fucking things based on the talent that works on his shows
Right.
and what he was wanting to happen. And he was like, and I'd spoken to some of the talent, and I was like, "What do you think about this? This is what I'm going to do, and like what I'm putting forward." And they were like, "Dude, that is the best thing that we've ever fucking going to be able to do at this company." And then this promotion just going like, "Yeah, like nah, sorry, we want to do something completely different." But at the end of the day, like I was like, "Well, fuck, man, like that was my booking career done and dusted
Mm-hmm.
before even booking a
Yeah.
show." Then I realized it's like you can have all these great ideas, but when the owner of the company really wants to be in control of what's happening and they want to be, you know, control of the content that their company and their brand puts out, which
Right.
I get. And I understand that aspect of it completely. That's why you can't hate on it, because at the end of the day, like, I've been asked my opinion, I give suggestions, and hey, sometimes they go, yeah, cool, we like it, or you know what, Pierce, we don't like that, we're going to do something else. All right, cool. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to argue the fact, because I'm not the one paying the bills. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, the
Yeah.
owners and the promoters and the bookers are the one paying the bills. So if they ask you, you can give the advice, but you can't get mad and upset when they decide to do something you didn't suggest or
No,
don't
yeah.
listen.
Hey, this is what like you said, you got to foot the bill. You're paying me, but my thing is that if I'm doing something or I present something, right, and there's whatever something happens, um, just like in Cardona's case, like there is proof, there's evidence, there's fact that what he's doing is working, and it was his idea, it wasn't yours. Let it ride. You're only
Mm,
benefiting from it.
mm,
Like, who cares if it wasn't your idea? Now, um, to your point where like Tony Khan and what do you call it? And TNT and TBS, whatever the parent company is. God,
mm.
I too many concussions.
W-
But they're
w-
like they don't want Time Warner. They don't want, or they didn't want Jay Briscoe on TV because of what he said in that tweet years ago.
that was like they were going to do like they were going to do a live show dedication, and they said they wouldn't let them do it or
Well,
something. Was that?
that's now, but they don't even want them signed. They never got signed after after Tony Khan bought ROH, and then they were free from Impact. They said, "Yo, you cannot sign this guy. Do not want him on. He will not be on our network." They're paying him millions and millions of dollars. Like, okay, like you're my boss. They're Tony Khan's boss. They're paying everyone's bills.
Mm,
So he's got to defer to them. And then most recently, yeah, he was going to do a dedication show, and they're like, no, we don't want this guy because of what he said. And it was something like homophobic, and um, like I said, I've always said this to people, like you never know who knows who. Now I saw the tweet a while ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. Um, but whatever executive, if he's making his final call, could be gay, or his relative could be gay, or his relative um could have had some kind of interaction with Jay years ago
mm.
and took offense to it, told this person, and here it is 10 years later, this person's in a position of power with you. Like, you just never know.
Yeah, and it's also the
And
wrestling business, right?
and
Like the
after
politics coming out of nowhere
and
too.
after someone passes, is like, well, damn. Like, kind of like anything goes, like, okay, that's fine. Like, I hated whoever, Piers spit in my face and, called me a monkey, but he passed away. Like, damn. Okay, let's whatever. Like, they still like, nope, nope. So it's something, to me, that's when it's something personal.
Mm.
When it's taken
Like,
to that
absolutely,
extreme.
like as well, because I feel like, and that's the thing, like with cancel culture, and especially in the wrestling business, because like I feel like myself getting involved like in wrestling later in life, like I've been involved like the last couple of years on shows and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I'm 40 years of age, bro. Like, so I'm coming in with like not experience in the business, but experience in life, where
Right,
it's like
right.
if someone like says something to me or something outlandish, like I'm gonna sit there and go, no, I'm not gonna fucking accept that shit. No fucking
Yeah,
way in the world.
yeah.
And I feel like one of the things like we see with cancel culture is like, bro, if someone like when we're younger, let's go back 20 years, we're both in our like 20s, whatever it may be, and like we do some dumb shit, and we've both said, like, I'm sure we've both said some dumb shit, some
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
ignorant shit, some fucking hateful shit over the years. But like at the time, I'm not saying it was socially acceptable, but it was like it wasn't really that big of a deal to say a certain thing, or like to whatever it may be. That doesn't make it right. But like, how about instead of canceling those people, we educate them, going, hey, listen, you can't turn around And like, as we were talking before about that podcast, where I was talking about how he addressed that guest he had on his show who
Right.
dropped
Yeah.
the N-bomb, and
Yeah.
he's like, no, we ain't going to go any further until you apologize for that shit, because someone's allowed you to get comfortable in saying that shit, right? And I'm not going to let you get away with that. Like, you're not going to get away with that with me.
Right.
And like, I feel like that's now like, that's someone who's trying to educate someone, saying, look, you may have been able to say that around people of our ethnicity in the past, and they've been cool with that, but not everyone is going to be cool with that. And I feel like that education goes a long way, especially for younger people, man, because people in their 20s, bro, like, they're still learning about life and experience,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
can't really hold that shit, and hold them
Mhm.
accountable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can
Yeah.
hold them accountable, but like, educate them about it.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. You gotta. There's some because there was I've been in locker rooms where there's people um whether they have like a bodybuilding background or amateur wrestling background, whatever, and they come in and they kind of think they own the place, for lack of a better word. um and then I come back a month, 6 months later, and they start acting that way. I don't particularly blame them. I blame the people who are supposed to smarten them up. Like, no, this is how you act. This is how you treat pro wrestling. Like, a good example is Jay Cargill.
Mm.
I heard some stories about her. Um, she has $1 million look. She looks, she's beautiful.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks incredible. Look.
but just came in and basically came in at the top and never been humbled, never worked indies, and if she's still on that ascent up and nobody pulls her aside and like, no, what you did here was wrong. This is what you need to do, or this is how you need to act, or you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. It's their fault. It's not her fault.
Mm.
If you go out again, I have weird analogies, but
No, I
they
get you,
work.
bro. I get you.
If you go out, in Australia, right, and go out to wherever you got to go and get a wild kangaroo and bring him to the house, you can't get mad at him for jumping all over the place and breaking shit. And
Yeah,
no,
100%. You take
one,
them.
you
Yeah,
went and got him. Two, if you're gonna go get him, you gotta train him or break him in. That's your fault.
100%.
It's like that joke. I don't know if you watch comedies. You ever see it was one of Chris Rock's specials. And remember when the tiger bit one of the trainers at a show? I don't know if it was our Ringling Brothers, but this was years ago. I'm going back years ago, right?
Right.
But the tiger like attacked like the trainer at a show, and everybody was like, "Kill the tiger!" Blah 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 blah. So Chris Rock goes, "Why are you blaming the tiger? The tiger went tiger. The tiger did tiger things. It's the
100%.
guy's fault.
Yeah, I
Tiger
remember
did
seeing
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the same thing. It's like it's not these people's fault. They come in and act a certain way, and nobody's there to rein them in. Then it's that person's fault, or that group's fault, or that owner's fault. It's not the performer's fault if nobody pulls them aside and say, "Don't act this way. Don't act a certain way. This is how you do things. Come in, shake everybody's hand. Blah 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 blah." It ain't their fault.
Mm. I think that's because it's like you get that like education of it, and like no one is like smartened them up, and
Yeah.
that also could come down to people just going, you know what, fuck this person, they don't belong in our business. We're not gonna fucking help them. We're not gonna
Yeah.
smarten them
Yeah.
up, and they're just gonna fucking cut their own legs out from under them over time, bro. And like that's something that also that you can see, like, bro, like you see stories of The Rock had that happen to him in fucking WWE when he was coming through from like Shawn Michaels, bro, like
Yeah.
smiling to his face but sticking a knife in his back,
Right.
bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's just like, unfortunately, that's not even just a part of wrestling. That's just in part of life, bro. And I've
Yeah.
always had a thing where it's like you can never trust anyone like 100%.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always got to be like,
Yeah.
because people are always going to let you down, because there's going to be things that it's like you might
Yeah.
think it's important, and like to them it's like important, but not like on the
Yeah.
level it is of you, or vice
Right.
versa. So like I feel You know what I mean? Like those
Yeah.
sort of situations, you kind of just got to.
Oh, they're just going to be up for themselves. It's not nothing against you, but like we could be best friends, right? Best friends in the world. Like we godparents to your kids and blah 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 blah, right? But if somebody presents me an opportunity and they're like, all right, I got $1 million, I can give you $500,000, Piers $500,000, or I can give you 600,000, give Piers 400,000. And you'll never know. He'll never know. I'll give you the 6. Hey, Piers, I got you some money. Like it's nothing personal, but I'm gonna put me ahead of you.
100%, bro.
So,
like
but it's like it's just for honestly, I could say there's probably 2 people there's one person in the entire wrestling industry who I trust implicitly 100%. 100%. One person. And then it's somebody else who I trust like 98%. I'm not gonna lie.
Is that like Mikey, like Whipwreck? Because I feel like as a trainer and stuff like that, they're always like the relationship was always strong there.
Nope. Nope. And I love Mikey to death, but I mean, he's out of the wrestling industry, wrestling business. Yeah, it's not him. I'm not even considering Mike. I mean, current day, like performing.
Yeah, right.
Current
so someone's
day.
still in the business.
Yeah. One person who I trust implicitly.
And the thing is, man, you've been around for a long time. You know a lot of people.
I just don't.
And the majority of the guys on TV today, right?
Right. And if somebody says, "Hey, I don't particularly trust Mega," I'm like, I get it. Fuck, I don't even fucking trust myself 100%. Seriously, I don't. But out of like, probably like 95% or more, there's a couple people. But other than that, I don't. And there's nothing against, like I know a lot of people in the business, got a lot of friends, and it's nothing against them. It's just that we're all human beings. And if somebody's going to present you with an opportunity and it may be at my expense in some way, they're going to take it because they're human. They're just human. They're not doing anything wrong or doing anything against me or to attack me. It's not personal, it's business. And that's why it's like, if somebody, I'm sure a lot of people I know are going to see this and they may take obviously, if 2 people are watching this together and there's only one person, well, he doesn't no, I don't. There's nothing personal. I love you to death, care about you, but I know at the end of the day, business is a business and people have to look out for themselves. It's human nature. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. And that's where it's like, hey, do you trust? No, I don't. But I shouldn't. In life, I don't trust people.
I think trust is earned. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like my best friend that I've known since I was 4 years old, like I had like trust him to like at 100%, because it's like when I've needed him, like he's the sort of guy I could ring him at like 2:00 in the morning and go, hey, I've got a problem, and he would rock up at my house with a shovel and fucking, you know what I mean?
Well, there's people like that. I mean, what I mean trust is like, what I mean by trust is like, I know I can, I could turn my back. I could live my life backwards. Yeah, I could live my life blind, mute, and dumb for the rest of my life, and this person I'll be okay. Like there's things that there's plenty of people. I'll be there for them. They're there for me. And there's people who I trust will stick up for me, or sticking up for someone, or not talking behind their back. That's one thing. I don't consider that. That's not part of this equation. Because there's a few people who I know will always have our back and will always do right by me and say the right thing. But what I mean trust is just like, I am putting my life in your hands from here on forward. Like you have access to my accounts. You have everything. Like I am 100% completely vulnerable. There's only one person in the wrestling industry that I trust who can like, okay, here you go. One. I just, and it's just more so to protect me. And like I said, everyone's human. Everybody's going to be out for themselves. Now, if I had, $10 million, right, and I was like, all right, Piers, here's access to my account, and something happens to your kid, are you gonna take money from me to help your kid? Of course you will.
Yeah.
And I would be an idiot to think otherwise.
But like
But
even then,
but
like
but
it would be like, hey, Mega, like this has happened.
that's what I was
You know
gonna
what I mean? Because
say.
like
But would you say
it's
something?
yeah,
Right,
it's
right,
not like I'm just gonna go like, hey, I'm gonna take out 100,000 and I'm gonna go to Sydney Casino and fucking let it
right,
ride on black, right?
right,
Like,
right,
but if it's an emergency, like, hey, Mega, this is what's happened.
right,
This is the go. I need cash quick. And like the friendship or whatever that you have with that
right,
person, it's like, yeah, of course, because you have that trust to give them that,
right.
there, right?
And other
So
people, yeah, the people who are like 95% will probably I gotta take care of this because it's whatever. It's my wife, it's my daughter, it's my son, whatever. And I'll pay him back. I'll tell him later. Those are 95%. The 1% at 100 will say, "Hey, this is what happened. Can I? Can I take it? This? Can I do that?" And it's like, I mean, we see it every day with families. Like, you know, kids robbed from grandparents, kids robbed from their parents, spouses robbed from each other. It's like that's we're human beings. We're built to make mistakes. We're not machines. We're not robots. So we are
and
going to
people
do
do
things.
fucked up shit for
People do
money,
fucked
bro.
up shit for money. People do
And you know
fucked
what?
up shit all the
People
time.
want, and you know what? For a big bag, bro, people will do a lot of shit because they want to live that fast lifestyle. They
Yeah.
want to fucking have that big house. They want to get that brand new car. They want to
Right.
drive that Benz, whatever it may be. And it's like some people, when it's like when they have that bag in front of them, or like even if they don't, they try and pretend
Right.
they got that bag in front of them, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like it's perception for like a lot
Yeah.
of it for some
Yeah.
of them.
And you really can't go through life trusting everybody. Like you cannot. That's you have to um like I said, you always gotta look out for yourself. And not in a bad way, but just you always have to protect yourself. And
A
I'm
and you
always
know what? Like, I've learned from that because, like, I've always been, like, way too trusting of people, like and that's
can't
where
do
it's
it.
like, I think, like, the experience of, like, life experience of
Right.
going through that, like, I always was like that, whereas, like, I always wanted to be, like, cool like, I just wanted to be cool with people, I didn't like, drama or confrontation with motherfuckers, but then, like, I would just, like, let shit slide with a
Right.
lot of things, but then it's like, "Okay, cool." Like I will accept disrespect or like, okay, you fucked me over or stuff like that. But now it's like, okay, I kind of like see that and I'm like, you know what? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I'm not going to be so trusting now. Like I see certain things like or certain behaviors and I'm like, okay, I've experienced this before. I've seen this
Mm-hmm.
certain pattern before from someone. What you're doing is you're acting extra or you're acting a little bit like,
Right.
you know what I mean? A little bit sketchy or a little bit sus here. So like I'm gonna have to like pull back and just like see how this plays out here
Mm-hmm.
as before
Yeah.
it'd be a different situation.
Yeah. I've always said, if you don't have expectations from people, you'll never be let down.
100% right, bro.
Once you start having, expectations, I think Pierce would do this, or he would never do this, or I think you're going to get let down eventually
Mm,
because Pierce is going to
I
look out for Pierce.
bro, but that's the same thing.
Even your kids, like
Mm,
um, they're going to 20 years, something's going to happen. You're going to get let down. I mean, granted, as parents, you have to have expectations. Don't get me wrong,
of
but you're
course.
going to think, "Oh, my daughter would never do this." You have it embedded in your head from today. 20 years from now, she's going to do something that's like, oh,
Because I think no one wants to think that their kids are bad people. And
right.
like,
And they're
you know what
not
I mean?
bad, but they're human.
Mm,
They're human. Like I
yeah.
would tell people, like I know, like, and I always joke about people, joke with people. I'm not saying, well, I'll say it, but you might get pissed off, but it's the truth. Like, and that's why you probably say, no, yeah, you're right. But your daughter in 20 years from now, you know, she's gonna spread her legs. You're like, oh fuck, that's fucked up. It's true.
No, look,
Your
when
wife
she's
does it.
40 or I'm dead, no problem.
Right,
Like,
yeah, but that's the kind of thing where people think when they have expectations with people, this would never happen. They have this thing in their mind, but it's not reality. Like you got to accept certain things.
yeah.
You know, um, I'm sure. Like I don't know, I know this is way extreme, but I'm sure when they were 5 years old, I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's parents didn't think that he was going about kill and eat people. Shit happens. I know that's extreme, but your son
Yeah,
is going to
exactly.
get
Like,
drunk.
no one thinks their kid's gonna go up and
Right.
be like a fucking
Right.
mass murdering
Right.
fucking like.
Your daughter's going to spread her legs in 20 years. Your son may end up stabbing somebody in the neck. Your wife may cheat on you in 10 years. You may cheat on your wife, or your kid may rob a bank. Like humans do human things.
Yeah. No, I get it.
No one's perfect. And for the most part, at that right moment, like you said earlier about instant gratification, people are doing what they think is in their best interest at that moment in time, or whatever makes them happy.
Mm.
But
with that, you know what? A lot of time they're not even thinking about the
or not
consequences.
even thinking, right? Like it's 20 years from now, your son is dating this hot chick, right?
Mm.
And she's like, "Oh, I want whatever," right? He doesn't have any money, and your son steals from you because he's like, "No, I gotta satisfying her makes me happy, and I will do anything for her, even at my dad's expense." Like that's gonna happen, and it happens all the time. Now, is it right? No, but at that moment, like you said, he's not even thinking about the word consequence. All he's doing is satisfying his hot chick at the time, or she doesn't be hot. He could just be just madly in love with her, right?
Right, exactly.
Satisfying her and making her happy and seeing her happy makes him happy. I don't care what my dad, whatever. I'm not even thinking about my dad right now. It's all about her.
He should be cool.
Right. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Now, is that fucked up? Yeah. Is that fucked up? Absolutely. Right? But that brings that 100% down to 99%.
Yep.
You can't trust anybody. Like Steve Austin, DTA, don't trust anybody. Because humans,
exactly.
Because humans are going to be humans, and I hate when people just don't. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to believe that. Well, you need to, because if you don't, you're only going to set yourself up for a major letdown, and then you're going to be more disappointed than you really should at that person.
And then exactly, and that's the thing, bro. Like it's just like. As a podcaster, bro, like, there's times where like people don't show up for interviews or like shit falls through. And it's like when I first started this game, bro, I'd be like, fuck, fuck. Right. You know what I mean? But now I look at it like 3 years into the game and I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Like it's cool.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, like it's a podcast. It's not like world peace that we're doing here. Like shit, like, you know what I mean? Yes, this is something I do to try and make a living at, but like I put out enough content, whereas like if I have someone no show like an episode, I know I could easily just have enough. I have enough friends like that are entertaining in the business that I could reach out to you or like Chung or Louie or Angel or fucking Alan or like guys here in Australia say, hey, I need a guest for this week. Can you jump on and help me out? And it's like, fuck yeah, we can do that and have a conversation. So like when shit happens like that, I'm like, all right, cool. That's just part of the game.
And even transition to like real life, what do people always say? Always have like, 6 months of security, saved. You just never know. Like you can't even, like we say, tomorrow's never promised. Like nothing's promised. Your job's not promised. Nothing is promised. So therefore, you can't trust anybody or anything. You can't. You can't go through life saying, "Yep, this happened." Like I even tell people, with time for a bonus, and I'm sure people like who would take their will plan a vacation, not even vacation, but they'll plan like I'll pay off 3 months of my mortgage or I'll do this. I'll pay it off when I get my bonus in 6 months. All right, let's go on this trip now. We'll spend whatever $5,000. I won't pay my mortgage for a couple months because I'm gonna get my bonus. Like don't do that. A bonus is a bonus. Don't even plan for it because shit happens. Companies are gonna company. People are gonna people. Humans are going to humans. You have a pandemic. Right. Right. Even because I said that to somebody the other day. I forgot what we were talking about. But I said, if I told you 5 years ago that in a couple of years the world will shut down, you'd have thought I was crazy. And what the fuck happened? The world shut down. Like things happen.
100%.
Shit happens. Things just happen. And you just have to go in the mindset that things happen, and you know, if you trust someone 100%, they're gonna let you down
Yeah.
at
No,
some point. And that's why I only have one person who I implicitly trust right now.
Mm.
Right now. And like I said, I don't trust myself 100%, but I don't. I don't.
I'm such a
Um,
sketchy. I'm so sketchy.
yeah,
I
I don't
don't
trust
even trust
myself.
myself.
Right. I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
But it's just like you just can't, go through life, you know, um, living with expectations or having expectations, no matter what it is, friends, family, your job, the fucking weather.
Yeah.
You just freaking can't. You just always, and I'm not saying live negatively or pessimistically. All I'm saying is just like, you don't have to sleep with one eye open, but just be on alert. Just be on the lookout.
Have your just have your eyes wide open to a situation, right? Like it's
Yeah.
almost like you start dating someone and like they're just like they're doing a little bit of sketchy behavior, but like you're so in love that you're not picking up on it.
Right.
But you like
Yeah.
one of your boys or one of your close people would sit there and be like,
Hmm.
"Hey man, like your girl's acting a little bit sketchy here." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but if you
Or
got your eyes
even,
open, you're gonna
yeah.
pick that shit up. But if
Or
you
even
don't,
if, or even if they're not acting sketchy, but don't think like, okay, this is it. This is the one we're gonna get married in 20 years and blah blah blah. Like shit happens. Like you may do some shit that you don't think is wrong, and then other person finds sketchy, but you don't
Mm,
find sketchy. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, four or 5 years later, you're broken up or divorced. You
yeah,
just can't. You just can't. You just always got to be alert. You always got to be aware. Um, and just like I said, don't have like ultimate expectations of people or things. Like there's times I'm sure you've been podcasting and your internet goes down
yeah, I've had,
and you're
I've,
going nuts. Like, well, you expected it to be perfect. Well, guess
mm,
what? The internet god said, I'm gonna break some shit right now.
yeah, I'm gonna fuck with Piers right now. Like, yeah,
Right. So you just gotta be, have to be mentally and emotionally prepared and aware that things could happen,
mm,
and you have to prepare for that. Will it happen all the time? No, but there's going to be an occasion where, shit's going to happen. We're going to have a global pandemic. The internet is, I may turn my computer on and my internet may be down. It may go down during this interview.
yeah,
What do I do about it? And that's where, I know we're getting like crazy sidebar, but that's where
oh,
like, training comes into play or past experience comes into play or just being aware
professionalism.
comes into play. Yeah.
Mm.
I
And just I
can't.
think as well, just being like consciously present and understanding that
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
this is not
Yeah.
something that's happening because
Right.
like people are deciding I'm gonna fuck with Mega today, so I'm
Right.
going to do this so he can't
Right.
do that, and that's gonna piss him off. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like shit
Hmm.
happens to the point where it's like you're gonna have something shitty happen in your life. You can't
Yeah.
look at it as like, oh no, this is poor me. Fucking the world's against me. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, there's certain people that get like that. It's like they could be carrying like two smoked hams under each
Right.
arm and crying because they've got no fucking
Right.
bread. Or like
Yeah.
winning the lottery and then walking around going, fucking hell, I've got to carry all these $20 notes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's like, come on, like grand
Yeah.
scheme of things, you just gotta just be more present in the
Right.
situation and just be more thankful for what you have
Yeah.
than than basing
Hmm.
it on something that is just
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
bring you
Shit
down
just.
and
Yeah.
drag your vibe down.
Yep. Shit happens all the time. Shit just happens, and you just gotta be prepared to just deal with it. Like, okay, you can be hurt, disappointed, but shit's always gonna happen, and you just have to have the mental and emotional wherewithal to just, obviously you're gonna get mad and upset, but you gotta let that
Mm.
shit go and get over it and move on. And
You
at that
gotta
point, if
you
you
have
don't, you
to.
just hurt yourself. Yeah.
You have to. But man, look, we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes, bro. I feel
Damn,
like
yeah, it's
this
been a minute. Yeah.
conversation has just
Yeah.
like flown by. It's
It
interesting because
has.
I had a conversation earlier today with Johnny Rods and it went like the same, like an
Hmm.
hour and 50 minutes. And I feel like the conversations that we're now having on this show and like bringing on people like yourself and like I had Chung on like recently,
Mhm.
Kate and Foxy as well. Like I'm enjoying having my friends come on here, so I definitely want to get you back on, Mega.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
And have you and have more conversations, and maybe even like bring you on for some conversations with some other people, because like I
Yeah.
really respect your insight. You know, I respect the advice that you've given me, like since I've broken in the business as well. So I really think it'd be cool to try and get you involved, you know, doing a couple of interviews with me. If that's something that you want to be down with, if you want to talk about that off air at some point.
Yeah, this time and whatever. Yeah, always up for that. Yeah.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, where can everyone follow you on the
Right
social
there,
media?
right on the
Yeah,
screen. On Twitter and Instagram at King Mega _ YGB. I am not on TikTok. I refuse to go on TikTok.
we gotta get you on TikTok, brother.
Just not happening. It's not happening. I'm just nope. I'm not gonna be like the rest of the world. I'm not doing it. I said that's where I put my foot down. Not doing it. But yeah, you can reach me there. And also on Tuesdays, you know, I think you said it earlier, I have host a sports podcast called No Holds Barred Sports Show on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, US. And other than that, man, just want people to just, like I said, man, just you know, and especially felt this after Jay passed, because I haven't seen Jay in years, but whenever I saw him, it's just like, yo, what's up, blah 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 blah. But just like love a little extra and don't take things for granted. You know, this could be the last time we ever speak. You never know. You just never know. So I don't think, you know, unless something is crazy, like, you know, don't hold grudges. Just let it go. Just be the bigger person. Let it go. And the longer you hold grudges, the longer you hurt yourself. That's how I feel about it. You know, like I said, unless somebody does something crazy, like, you know, freaking
fuck your wife or something, you know what I mean? Like
and
murders
your kid and burns your house down and yeah.
Don't like
crazy,
right,
but
like
but simple shit, whatever. Let it go. That's not important. Life's too short, and you just never know what's going to happen. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
sure.
I really appreciate you coming on, Mega. Like
definitely, man. Definitely
a cool conversation, bro. And like this is definitely going to be like one of many podcasts I think we're going to end up doing in the future together. Because like, man, I've really enjoyed this, and I think there's much more that we need to discuss and talk about. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, checking out this podcast. Please make sure to tap the links below and tap in. Make sure you subscribe to us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, all that good shit. I appreciate yous. Guys, take care. All the best. Peace.